Shalom, shalom. We are live right now on Facebook in Jerusalem at the YMCA Hotel and restaurant, actually. It's not the hotel. This is a wonderful place to eat. And we are doing I'm grabbing a quick bite before we go live on another program that I'll be doing, which is on the Torah portion for the day. But I thought I would just touch base with you because so often when we go out to eat, our conscience, our conscious presence checks out. And we begin to look at the menu and we see all of these delicious things. And we've got the menu in front of me. I'll be showing you it in a minute. We see all of these amazing foods that we'd like to eat, and whether or not we are trying to eat healthy, whether or not we are trying to stay on our diet, make sure that we eat the right food combinations. So often when we get into a restaurant, we get into a wonderful setting like I'm at right now, we check out. And the subconscious takes over. And before we know it, we have just eaten a whole meal full of things we would never eat. So today, I'm going to give you one of my top tips on being present when you go to a restaurant. And then I'm going to add a little bonus tip on night eating in a restaurant. So the first thing you want to do when you get to a restaurant is you want to make sure you get your water. And the next thing you want to do, if you're a coffee drinker, a tea drinker, or there's another beverage that you like, it is the first thing you want to order. Because by doing that, you have already shifted your immediate thought of memorizing the menu, which is what I do, all right, to what you're going to drink during the meal. And even if you are a coffee drinker and you already had your cup of coffee for the day, so it's not like you want coffee, it's always a good idea if you're a tea or coffee drinker to order that. Why? Because there's something about drinking, even just a couple sips, that immediately takes any initial hunger out of your stomach or brain. And now you're going to have a better focus on what you're choosing. So here in Israel, we have basically a Mediterranean diet. So it's not going to have a lot of the high-fat foods that definitely I would be saying don't choose, all right? It's not going to have those. So what are we looking at? Here's a typical menu, okay? Here you're going to have your appetizers. Here you're going to have your salads. And then you're going to go on to have your main meals. And of course, there's the dessert section, which is usually where I look first, by the way. Now, in this, I have tons of choices here. I'm going to just read them off. I can have a soup. I can have this Jerusalem platter, by the way. If there was 2 or 3 of me, I'd order that. It's got your hummus. It has different kinds of meats, different kinds of vegan options like vegetables and tahina. So it's like a big platter, but it's just me today. And you can get hummus with whole chickpeas, which is very healthy, but it's very high in carbohydrates. So you have to be careful when you're looking at how many carbohydrates are in the foods you're choosing, because they can be healthy foods, And you have to remember that if you were just getting 2 tablespoons, it would be okay. But because you're getting 2 cups usually, at least a whole cup or 2 cups in a meal, and because you're going to be eating probably everything that's on the plate, that's going to be too high carb. And for those of you that are really serious about cutting or finding that solution to getting to your base weight and losing weight, or those of you that are serious in staying healthy, then an overload like that is going to completely throw you off, and you're not going to get the results you want. And that is so important. You are result driven. So the next day when you say, wow, I just had hummus with a 1 pita, why did I put on 3 pounds? It's going to be because even though you ate something healthy, the carb load on that dish is super high. Even though it's got a lot of protein too. It's got, your protein, your carbs, and it's got great fat. But the carb load is way too high. So then we have a meat dish where it's a pita bread stuffed with some mincemeat, onions, garlic, grated tomatoes. That's a good choice. In fact, as an appetizer, usually you're getting a portion size that is much more appropriate to what you should be eating. That's a great choice if you're a meat eater. Now, let me just tell you, I am 80% vegan, whole food plant-based. So 80% of my choices throughout the week are vegan, and sometimes 100%. Usually only on Shabbat or when I'm with friends or we happen to be eating at a special restaurant or somebody's cooking, right, do I go into my 20%, which will be a fish, mostly fish, a chicken, or a beef. Beef usually has to be grass-fed, grass-finished. So does chicken. Fish, wild caught. All right. So with that said, since it was Shabbat, I had a little bit of meat last night. I'm not going to be going the meat choice today. But that's a good choice. Even though it has the pita bread, usually you can dig out of the pita bread and just have half of that. Or for the most part, a pita bread is going to have about 30 to 40 carbs in it. So you're still going to be fairly okay unless you're in a really strict ketosis type of a diet. So then you have a chicken shawarma. Always love chicken shawarma. Again, it comes with the Shrek bread. It comes with the tahina. And, this is where being present is important. Because the bread is usually the kicker. And if you want to really curtail the high carb, I say stay between around 50 carbs if you're eating out or less. And when you're going to get a big bread, usually that might go over, so you might want to only eat half that bread. The only way you can do it is if you're present. In other words, I know what I want to do. I'm present. I am making choices based on the outcome. The fact that I don't want to step on a scale and weigh 3 pounds more tomorrow. Or the fact that what I'm eating now is going to be counteracted by a jog or the gym. Or, all right, I'm going to be sharing this meal. Or, I know what my limit is, and so I'm going to enjoy the portion I can enjoy. And I'll save the rest, or I'll just send it back. That's how being present is. When you let the subconscious take over, all of a sudden you're saying, I can eat whatever it is. And the subconscious, when it finds what it likes, it will cloud. I mean, because it's a habit. So when you're allowing the subconscious to kick in, you're allowing an eating habit to take over. And folks, that's what we're trying to change, is our eating habits. If you don't know my story yet, you're going to find my story in totality in my newest course, Fasting in Your Health. Now, this isn't the kind of fasting like I'm going to be teaching you to not eat for days, all right, or weeks. No, I'm going to teach you how to eat within certain window periods. I'm going to teach you how to go in and out of a fat-burning state in a way that completely heals or helps or aids. I can't say it heals because I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nutritionist. I can only share with you my insights of 30 years of living a healthy lifestyle. But I'm going to teach you some very, very important aspects of allowing your gut to become like super, super intelligent. It's a brain as it is, but we're going to make it more intelligent to serve you, to serve your metabolism, and to heal that gut health, as well as improve and increase your metabolism. So that's what this course is all about. And you're going to be getting the most cutting edge science and spiritual insights from the book of Proverbs and different aspects of the Word of God, like Isaiah 58. It's going to be pretty cool. Now, with that said, back to our menu. So we have the chicken shawarma. We have a mixed seafood platter. Now, I eat kosher food, so I do not ever eat anything like shrimps or calamari or things like that. So in this case, then we can go on to our salads. So if I was to look at all of my choices here, I'd go with either the chicken shawarma or I'd go with the meat ayares if I was going to be eating meat. Then when we get to salads, we have the fattoush salad, one of my favorite salads ever. It's just tomatoes, cucumbers, garlic, onions, olive oil mixed together with toasted pita and lemon juice. Oh, God, it's so fabulous, refreshing. I love it. Now, if I was going to be eating something a little more high fat and a little protein on the side, I would order that salad today. But I'm not. Or if I'd already had some protein, I would order it. But I haven't. So I'm going to scratch that off the menu today because it's a little bit, again, with the pita, it's going to put my carb content too high. Now we have the Arabic salad. Chopped tomatoes. It's everything that's in the fattoush salad without the toasted pita. I totally would go with that. It's healthy. The olive oil gives me the fat that I need. The fresh lemon juice gives me the healing properties I need. And of course, I'm not sensitive to any of those foods, so I would totally rock with that. Grilled eggplant tahina, perfect, as long as eggplant is not an inflammatory food for you. And you're going to learn in my course what's inflammatory, how to know whether a food is inflammatory for you or not. So I would totally go with that. For me, because it's perfect, you've got your vegetable, you've got your fat, which is in your tahina, plus you've got some carbs and protein. It's perfect. Chicken salad, always, it's totally rocks. Or the raka salad, which is red onion, Parmesan cheese, pine, and pomegranate dressing, which is, when it talks about pine, it's talking about, pine seeds or pine nuts. That's a fine dressing too. Parmesan cheese is light on the stomach. If you're not a dairy eater, I wouldn't recommend it. But if you eat dairy, Parmesan cheese, because it's really fermented, I think that's what you would call it. But it's aged. And when anything's aged, it's much easier on the digestive process. So then we have the quiches. Now, if you're not sensitive to dairy, quiches are perfect because usually they have a high fat content, they have a low carb content, they have a protein content, and depending on the types of cheeses, especially if you're using an aged cheese in your quiche, it's pretty good. Now, I also love to make quiches with a non-dairy cheese, like a diet cheese in the States, one of my favorites. Usually it's got a coconut base, a coconut oil, and a cocoa base, which is great for you. So it's my choice. They have here sweet potato quiche, too high carb. Wouldn't go there, although I would never hesitate to eat during the lunch or morning hours a sweet potato with a higher, like a ghee butter or coconut oil. If you have never had sweet potato with coconut oil, oh my God, and Grace Healthy Sea Salt, fantastic. That would be a great choice. In fact, even in this case, this would not be a bad choice because it's still early in the day. And then we have the onion and white quiche. So I would go with either the broccoli quiche, or they have an anti-pasta quiche, which is eggplant, potato, red bell peppers, or an onion and green onion quiche. But this comes with a cream cheese and yellow cheese, cheeses that I don't recommend. And I'll be telling you why I don't recommend that in the course, but I don't recommend that. All right, and so we can go on to the meals. There's the salmon fillet, beef fillets, kebabs. But in this case, I don't want a big meal. And also, here in Israel, just so you know, if I order a salmon fillet, I am going to be paying $40 US. If I order beef, I'll be paying $50. It just, even to order what I'm telling you, is going to cost me $20 US just for a basic meal. Very, very expensive here in Israel for when you eat out. So it doesn't seem like a lot because it's in shekels. So for me today, I don't think on a meal that, I'm trying to keep small, that I want to order something that is super expensive. Do I ever order that? Yeah, I do. Because I like to eat certain things like salmon. I love salmon. And I definitely order it when it's, I'm out on a special occasion. So then we have desserts. Now, this is where I promised you I would talk to you about the bonus tip. Now, today I won't be ordering a dessert because I have ordered, just so you see, I've ordered the broccoli quiche, and I've ordered with it the big salad comes with it. So I'll probably eat the middle. I won't be eating a lot of the edges because I'm staying present. I don't want all of that bread, but I'm present. I know what I'm going to eat, what I'm not going to eat. But the reason I'm not ordering dessert is because I ordered the quiche with a little bit of crust here and an aged cheese. So I don't need the dessert because I already have some butter. I already have some really good food. Now, if I'm eating earlier in the day, around, in my top, the high top of my window, which I'll be teaching you about again, but usually if I'm eating early in the day, I can put a dessert with an entree. But once I get past, I would say, the end of the day, or I'm going out to eat and I'm past my eating window, let's say between 5 and 7, if I'm past that, and even if I haven't eaten dinner yet, when I go to a restaurant, I'm going to make a choice, and it's going to be between dessert and a meal, not both. An average meal eating out is 1,000 calories. An average meal, even if they tell you it's 500 on the menu, it can be 1,000 calories. So that's an average meal. Once they put the dressings and the salts and all of what goes in. Now, an average dessert is also going to be between 700 and 1,000 calories. So if you eat both, you have already eaten at least 80 to 90% of your calorie intake for the day. So if you choose just one or the other, the chances are you could still be staying within your calorie range for the day. So on this dessert menu, I have a double cheese, a souffle, a Swiss, apple crumb, or the YMCA specialty. A double cheese is a New York cheesecake. A souffle is a hot chocolate fondue with white chocolate truffle inside. Swiss, mascarpone cream cheese, and white chocolate drops. Right away, I would back off of that because of the cream cheese. Cream cheese, it's not good for your digestion for one, but also it's a lot higher carb, all right? Not necessarily no carb, all right? And also, many people that have dairy allergies, this is the kind of thing you stay away from. Then the apple crumb pie. I love apples, apple everything. If I was earlier in the day, I would choose that. If I later in the day, I want something with a little more fat in it. Well, I'm not a dairy eater per se. Remember, only in that 20% window. But if I was, I would definitely go with the cheesecake because it's the higher fat and lower carb. Plus it has some protein content, some good protein content. Then there is the dulce de leche cream on brownies filled with maple threads, brownie bits, mild coffee cream, and caramelized pecan. Folks, that would only get my attention if I had several people here and we were all taking just one bite. Sounds amazing. So, what would I choose if I was in the evening? Would I choose between the hot chocolate fondue and the white chocolate truffle inside? The cheesecake, I already mentioned, it's always a safe choice, even though it has sugar. The mascarpone cream cheese, I would not, well, I was going to say, I don't really go, but mascarpone is a different kind of cream cheese, by the way. I might go with that, even though I just told you cream cheese, you always want to kind of make that your last choice. But why would I even think about it? It has dark chocolate and dark chocolate meringue. Anything with dark chocolate is always a safe choice for you. Anything with dark chocolate, safe choice. All right. And so I would go with whatever is the higher of the two in the way of a higher fat, medium protein, lower carb. That would be my choice for desserts or meals. So in the long run, looking at this in the evening, it's going to be a tough choice for me. Apple crumble, I would just be able to eat the apples out of it. The souffle, too high carb for sure. The mascarpone cream cheese, probably the best second choice because it's the mascarpone cream cheese and not like Philly cream cheese. With the dark chocolate, probably the best choice. And then of course the double cheesecake, if I wanted to do a lot of dairy, that would be okay too. So there you have it. These are my tips today. First, on staying present. When you walk into the restaurant, before you go in, when you get to that door, this is what you're going to tell yourself. I have goals. I am present.